Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to be doing the next stage of my doll's house renovation because I'm taking it back to the Tudor era. So I'm going to be making some floorboards to go on the downstairs, the gallery and the upstairs floor. So to do this I'm going to try and do it with lolly sticks that I bought from a local craft shop. This tool is a tool I've borrowed from my brother. I think it might be for cutting tiles or laminate flooring or something like that, and it helps you to get the angle right. It is quite difficult to cut through, so I did this 100 times. Well, I did it 200 times because I did it for each end of each lolly stick to cut off the ends so that I had flat ends that will join like this. Before staining my lolly sticks, I laid them out into my doll's house to work out which way I wanted them to go. So I've decided that I want them going across horizontally like this because I think it's a better fit than them going vertically, and I'm going to stagger them as well. So before I start painting my lolly sticks, I've just sanded each end of them and also the sides as well to make sure that the paint absorbs into them. And then I'm going to be painting them with a wash of the raw umber acrylic paint mixed with water, just like I did with the woodwork that I've already painted in previous videos. So you can see the consistency there. I've also decided to put 2 little holes into each end of each floorboard to make it look like this is where the nails would go. I don't know if this is true to history. I don't know if that's how the floorboards were attached in Tudor times, but I thought it might make them look a little bit more authentic. I'm just using a little eyelet screw here, but anything like a bradawl could be used for this. And then with my wash, I am staining them. Now I did find this a bit tricky because I was getting my fingers in the way and getting fingerprints on the floorboards as I did it. So although I've not got it in the video, I quickly switched from using my finger to hold down each floorboard to using a kebab skewer, which just kept my fingers out of the way but meant that the floorboards were in place whilst I was painting them. This stopped me from getting my fingerprints all over them. I also made sure that I was painting the sides of the floorboards and the ends as well. And you'll have seen that the floor that I'm going to be attaching these floorboards to is already painted in the same colour because just in case there's any gaps I wanted to make sure that it didn't show through. So that's what they look like. Obviously I had a little helper whilst I was doing this, and then once they were dry I've just used PVA glue, so just this normal washable PVA glue here, to stick these down. I decided to use this glue because I thought it would be giving me a bit more time to work with the position of these before they dried, so I'll let you know how that goes. I will give you a close-up of the floorboards where I pierced the holes at the end. So there we go, that's what for the nail holes. I wish I'd done this with every floorboard. I just did it sporadically, but actually I really like the effect, so I wish I'd done it with all of them. Just using a tape measure here to work out the size of each plank to fill the gaps. In hindsight, if I did this again, I would work one row at a time, doing the smaller bits and the full length bits at the same time, rather than placing all of the full length floorboards first. But you learn by doing. And I've had to weigh these down with some heavy objects because I found that as the glue's drying, they're curling up at the sides. I don't know if that would have been different if I'd have used wood glue or super glue, so if I did this again I would maybe try a different glue. So you can see here some of the floorboards that are raising up and bending slightly. I'm not too bothered about it because of the age that the house is meant to be, but these ones here are raised up far too much. You can see how they've really burred as they've dried. So when I painted them they didn't warp, but it is when I've added the glue. So I'm just going to try and lift them here. They've obviously not stuck down yet with the PVA, but I'm just going to try and add some super glue and just see if, because this is a bit more quick drying, if holding them down in place will help. And I think that has helped a little bit, so I'm going to try and do this one too. Apologies for the light, but I'm blocking out the light. I'm struggling to get the camera into my doll's house, obviously, because the space is so small. So again, I'm just going to put a little bit of the super glue here. I'm aware that the PVA glue hasn't dried properly yet, but I might not be able to lift these up to get the super glue underneath them if I don't do it now. That has worked, and I'm really happy with how these floorboards have turned out. I can't wait to now do the panelling on the walls down here, and I'm considering doing panelling on this upstairs right hand wall, which is why I've not put any beams on it yet. So we have gone from this over the past week with the floor still in place and the carpets to this which I'm really happy with. Thank you for tuning into my video. Please remember to hit subscribe to watch the future videos, because I plan on doing the windows and the kitchen floor and lots of other things too.